I always say co-regulation is the superpower of parents and teachers. Like, so co-regulation meaning like that when I'm regulated in my nervous system is scientifically proven that I help you regulate your nervous system as well. And really like trying to find that connection with them when they're in that red zone and being the safe regulated adult in the situation.
Welcome to another episode of Beyond the Steps, produced by Apolla Performance and Turning Point Dance Creations. If you are a coach, educator, or even a parent, you've probably wondered how we can help our performance athletes stay calm, focused, and resilient in high stress situations, and even keep yourself that way too. Well, we've got you covered with our expert mindset coach, Ashley Mowrey, back with us to share actionable takeaways you can start using today, whether you're preparing for the new season, a big performance, or daily training. Let's get into it.
Ashley, we talked about a lot of information. You gave us some jewels. Let's talk about what we can do. What are some practical strategies that athletes can use in the moment to return into their window of tolerance?
Mm-hmm. So my favorite thing to teach athletes and dancers is what I call my 5 S's. I know I've talked about it before here on Beyond the Steps, but the 5 S's are a list of skills that help reduce stress and overwhelm in the moment. I did not create the S's. They are well researched and have proven to reduce stress in the moment. I just made them start with the letter S and put them together in a way so kids and us can remember them. And so we are going to provide a link for any listeners or viewers who want to download the 5 S's. I have a free download of it, and it walks you through all of them. But just going through them really quickly, shaking is one of the best things for our nervous system. Shake, soothe, so giving yourself a soothing touch, saying soothing words towards yourself, like I can handle this, I can do this. Sigh, which is a physiological sigh. It's a breathing technique where we're going to do 2 inhales and a long exhale. And I'll walk you through it on the worksheet if you want to practice that. That's one of my favorites for in the moment when I'm really starting to get out of my window. And then spot the feeling is spotting the feeling. So naming the feeling that you're having. So I am experiencing anxiety right now, or even like I am bumping out of my window right now. So giving a name to what you are experiencing, what you are feeling. And then the last one is safe space. And so either getting yourself to a safe space where you can relax and calm down, or going there in your mind, visualizing a place where you feel safe. So those are my go-tos. I also want to touch on, for red and blue specific. So for the different zones, you can use any of those. Like I would say all of the 5 S's would be great to use in either zone. Try them out, practice, see what feels good to you. But then also if you forget the 5 S's or you want to try something different, basically what you want to think about is red zone. You want to do things that are calming and relaxing. And you want to think about your senses. And so relaxing scents can help. So like smelling lavender or smelling something that you find relaxing. Soothing music can be really helpful. Soothing textures. So like wrapping yourself up in a nice warm cozy blanket. Deep long breaths, drinking something soothing like hot tea. All of those things can be really great. And then also when you're in the blue zone, so in the freeze shutdown, you want to do things that activate your senses. And so peppermint is a great one. Suck on a peppermint, have peppermint gum, drinking cold water, spicy food, balancing, using your body and like really like balancing on one foot is going to help energize your body and help you get out of that shutdown.
Is that where the shaking comes in?
That's one of them. Also too, like our body shaking is just one of the best ways to balance out our nervous system and to come back into that window.
I have started implementing shaking into, not every day, but I do it often. And I cannot believe what a difference it makes. It's absolutely insane to me that it works so well. And you feel crazy in the moment, but it really does work.
I know. And one thing that I've been really focusing on too, and this sounds silly and I make the dancers do it with me too, but like, so, we all do the shaking like this, but if you really concentrate on your hips and you just shake your hips, shake, 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 shake. We store so much stress in and around our hips. And it is so, I try to do it every morning. Just like shake, 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 shaking those hips. But it's a really, really good, effective tool to use.
Especially women too, like, as we get older, like, I've learned that that is such a central part of what holds stress in our bodies, and then if you stretch and release that and try to do that every day, it makes such a difference in the way you move through your day, I think. Yeah. Yeah, that's great information. So how can athletes expand their window? Because we talked in an earlier part of the conversation about how our window can shrink, right? Our like it feels like we're in a time in the world where everyone's window of tolerance, when we say window, we're referring to the window of tolerance, but that window has shrunk drastically for many. And I include myself in that. But how can performance athletes expand their window over time and build resilience and adaptability for peak performance?
So, a couple things that come to mind. One, consistency. Being able to practice these nervous system regulation skills consistently. So, are they practicing mindfulness? Are they practicing journaling after practice or before competitions or after competitions? Somatic regulation skills like the deep breathing, like the shaking. So, consistently practicing those, definitely. Another one is, I would say, gradual exposure to small stressors and really being intentional and using these skills. So, these are great skills to start practicing. As far as dance goes, we're not in competition season yet, right? Like, we're preseason, we're learning the dances, we're setting the pieces. This is a really great time to just really get a hold of those skills in the studio, where it might be a little bit stressful, but it's not quite as stressful as competition. And so practicing those skills in those areas. Again, we talked about it earlier, but rest and recovery, especially the week before and after competitions, like, we really need to be prioritizing sleep and nutrition, and making sure that we are giving our body proper rest and then recovery afterwards. And then also, I always say therapeutic or coaching support. Like, this is a big thing that I work on with my coaching clients, dancers of all ages. I've taught this down to dancers of 6, 7 years old, window of tolerance, just even being able to understand the concept and being like, oh, this is what happens. Even the other day, my daughter and I were talking, she's 8, and she was saying, Mom, like, during a test, when I start feeling stressed, I get really hot. Like, I feel really warm all over. And I was like, yes, that's your body's response to stress. And that's, an automatic, you're not doing that on purpose. Like, that's your body's automatic response. And so, you know, therapeutic or coaching support, I think, is always a great thing. If this is really affecting your performance and affecting your competition, I always say, reach out, try to get some support.
So, we talked a little bit in one of the previous episodes about approaching our performance athletes when we recognize that they're in or out of a certain zone, and how that can be a very nuanced situation. What role can coaches, trainers, or even teammates play in supporting athletes to stay regulated and within their optimal zone?
I think one of the best things that we can do is model regulation, and model coming back into our window, right? Co-regulation, I always say co-regulation is the superpower of parents and teachers. Like, so co-regulation meaning, like, that when I'm regulated in my nervous system, and it is scientifically proven that I help you regulate your nervous system as well. And when I'm dysregulated, that is not going to help you regulate, right? And so really modeling that regulation, really modeling that, okay, I'm getting out of my window, like, I'll narrate it, like, oh, okay, I'm edging out of my window right now. I'm going to step away. I'm going to go run my hands under the cold water for a minute, and I'll be back. And really narrate what's happening. Another thing that coaches and parents can do is creating that psychological safety in the environment. Psychological safety, we know that athletes and kids in general learn better when there is psychological safety. And so, psychological safety meaning that there is not a fear of making mistakes is going to lead to humiliation or shame, right? And so, an environment where like mistakes are part of growing and failing is part of learning, and how what can we learn from this, and the safety, the psychological safety in the classroom, and building that culture in your team where like yes, you're not going to be humiliated, you're not going to be shamed for making mistakes. That doesn't mean that we like don't fix mistakes, right? Again, like it's that both and approach of like yes, we go in, but we're going to go in with much more like empathy and connection, rather than just like stop making that mistake. So those are a couple things that come to mind. I also think, we've talked about this, but adjusting our feedback. And so, when we do have a dysregulated kid, it is absolutely my tendency. If a kid is in the red zone, it's really hard for me not to meet them in the red zone. Like I have to really like bring some awareness, and that's been a big growth point of mine over the last several years. But my go-to now is really softening with them and really like trying to find that connection with them when they're in that red zone, and being the safe regulated adult in the situation and adjusting. So if I am giving them, like if I can tell a dancer is about to get into the red zone or blue zone, that doesn't mean I'm like giving them a pass or like not correcting them. It just means I might adjust how I'm giving them feedback, until I can tell that they're in a more regulated state.
Ashley, I'm with you. I jump in the red zone people all the time. I need to do way better, way better. At not jumping in the red zone. Oh my gosh, you have just taught us so much, Ashley. We have learned so much. And in this show, we are all about learning. So we would love for you to take the STEPS initiative. It's a 100% free course that was the impetus for this whole entire show. There is so much great information from experts in very many fields: racism, sex abuse and prevention, gender equity, psychology, nutrition, and of course, medicine and science. Please check it out and tell a friend. That link is in the description as well as up there on your screen. Today, Ashley talked about her download, the 5 S's for emotional regulation. You can get that for free. That is just for you today as viewers of Beyond the Steps. That link is also in the description and it is up there on your screen. So make sure you get that free download. You can use it. It is news you can use, like they like to say. Ashley, you have so much going on. We didn't even give your extensive bio. People, I'm sure, know you very, very well. But can you tell us about some stuff that you have going on? Some things you might want our viewers to know about?
Absolutely. So, as always, I provide one on one coaching for dancers and performers. So, you can find out that information at ashleymowrey.com. I do a 6 session package where we dive deep into these topics and help you build the mental strength and resilience you need to be a top performer. And then I also do group workshops. I travel and do Zoom. And so if your studio or company or team are interested in building your team culture or your mental strength, please contact me through my website or my Instagram. And then I also am on tour with Embody Dance Conference. And so we're going to start back up in November, and we're going to lots of different cities this year. I'll be in most cities. And so please come to those. During those weekends, I teach. I always have the dancers, and then I always have parents and teachers as well. And so it's a really great time to work on mindset skills. I love that Embody is seeing the need and the value of adding this into an actual convention. Like it is part of the convention. And we also have a mental health seminar and a somatic movement seminar with Allison Stoner as well. So please join us.
Wow. So we'll link Embody Dance information in the description as well. So you can make sure you check out Ashley if she is in your city. And all of Ashley's contact information is also going to be in the description as well. Our last reminder: like, share, subscribe. That's how we get this information out. Go to YouTube at Apolla Performance and at TP Dance Creations. like, share, subscribe, and also look at some of our past episodes, as well as the 2 episodes that preceded this one, where we talk about the window of tolerance.
Yeah, it's been a great conversation. Ashley, I know I speak for Melissa and for me when I say thank you so much for always being an amazing guest and dropping the knowledge, but especially for being here and having this conversation at kickoff season 6. We appreciate you so much and obviously can't wait to have you back.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh my gosh, our pleasure. Next week, you get Melissa and me. We're going to talk about our takeaways and aha moments. So don't miss it. Always Fridays at 3:30, we're kicking off, but our episodes live on YouTube at Apolla Performance and TP Dance Creation, so you can watch those anytime. And bring your questions and comments too. We always want to hear from you. Drop those below so we can touch on those next week. Until then, we hope you continue your journey beyond the steps. Everybody have a great week.